How is it going? Thank you for tuning in this video. Today I'm here with my live review of attending the final Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania 41, the go-home show on the April 14th, 2025 edition of Monday Night Raw on Netflix from the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. Without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and jump right into things. Now, funny enough, I believe in my last live review video, which is from the Raw on the second week of Netflix from the January 13th edition, back in, 3 months ago now. I believe I said in that video, I don't recall the last time I've been to a wrestling show, or at least a WWE show, where I was in my seat, before anything started and saw everything that the show had to offer. I was able to do that here. It wasn't intentional by any means. It just all lined up the way it did. Audrey and I got to the arena, a little after 3:30, and we were able to get through, literally in the arena within 5 minutes after we went through security and got our tickets scanned. It was very, very brief. But by the time we got in, I saw the line for the merch line, and I was just like, you know what, I don't feel like waiting in it. And honestly, there was only two things I was interested in. There was a Raw on Netflix shirt that had dates on it, and of course I had the date for that show there that I was interested in, but it was just a basic shirt. Literally the front was just Raw on Netflix, and then the back had the dates on it, so it was very, very plain. But there was a Sacramento Kings shirt there that was on the merch stand, but to be perfectly honest, even when I walked up to it, I couldn't get really much of a good glimpse at it because it was purple on a gray shirt, and I couldn't really see the design all that well besides the Kings logo. And they upcharged the shirt there by $5 just because it's I guess the hometown exclusive, and I just didn't feel like waiting in line. And so I said, you know what, I'm not gonna get it, and didn't end up getting any merch. So that was the case with the merch lineup, so didn't get anything there. And then after that, we went straight to our seats, and yeah, like I said, we were there before anything started, probably honestly maybe 5 to 10 minutes before they started the main event stuff. We're in our seats by, but yeah, we're there very quick in our seats. Great seats. I love the view. The Golden One Center is not really a bad view, but just I hate how modern arenas are made where they're trying to get as many seats in there as possible, but the upper section, all the seats are crammed, man. If you were in the middle of the section like we were, if you want to get up, the whole row has to get up and stand up for you to walk by. That's how crammed it is, and I just don't know why modern arenas and stadiums both are like that. I get they're trying to get as many seats as possible, but make some room for people, man. You're making it a hassle just to even get up in the upper section. Yeah, I got to our seats, like I said, right before the main event taping started. So speaking of main event, let's go ahead and dive right into that taping. Of course, the first match we had was Maxxine Dupri taking on Zoey Stark. I had no idea. Apparently, Maxxine Dupri is from Sacramento. She came out in a Kings jersey, and she was announced from Sacramento. So I honestly had no idea. I know Solo and Jacob Fatu are from here, but I had no idea Maxxine was, so that was a nice pleasant surprise. So for that fact alone, the crowd was heavily behind her the entire time. The crowd was really reactive to Maxxine. I think she's slowly getting over, and she's slowly improving as well. This match is pretty solid. Not much to it. Zoey Stark was pretty dominant, but Maxxine, when she had her time to shine, I thought she looked pretty good. Definitely has improved in my eyes, at least. Not that, I never thought she was awful like a lot of people thought she was, but she's definitely, looked pretty solid from what I saw in the match she had with Zoey Stark. But towards the end, Zoey Stark just hit a barrage of running knees, just absolutely destroying her, just, toying with her at that point. And then when she went for one more, Maxxine countered it into a roll-up. 1, 2, 3, Maxxine Dupri defeats Zoey Stark. Definitely was a good match to rile up the crowd. Like I said, the crowd was very behind Maxxine. No one gave a flying F for Zoey Stark, unfortunately. But yeah, that was a good, solid way to kick off the show, I thought. From there, we had Ludwig Kaiser taking on Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate coming out with Pete Dunne, but then Pete Dunne just walked out on the stage, for after that. So he's just pretty much told him, hey, go get him, Tiger, and then walked off. The match itself was very good. I thought these two went out there and had a banger of a match. Tyler Bate's always been impressive. I've always enjoyed Tyler Bate, but it just seems like he's never really been able to go really far in his career, seems like, in WWE. So yeah, he did his usual stuff. He did the spin, with Ludwig Kaiser. He showed off his strength a whole bunch in the match, and there were some good near falls toward the end as well. But at the end, Ludwig Kaiser hit the, I think, Orton Drape DDT, followed by his finish for the 1, 2, 3. So Ludwig Kaiser gets a victory. A good pop for Ludwig too as well. Some Tiffy time chance, obviously, for Ludwig, and check his DM chance for him, which I'm just like, come on, man. If you guys seen the meme, it's Ludwig Kaiser is the first man to be, accused of cheating, and no one absolutely believes it. Come on, who's gonna believe he's DMing Charlotte when he's got, Tiffany? So yeah, fun match, banger. Like I said, good stuff from both men. And Ludwig, hopefully he can, get into the mid-card scene and the mid-card title scene soon, and really start cooking. So those two matches were all from the main event tapings, and after that we had one match for WWE Speed, of course, on X. We had a #1 contenders tournament between Erik, of course, one half of the World Tag Team Champions, taking on El Grande Americano to a, I don't want to say a huge pop, but he came out to a pretty good pop, I felt. And he was actually billed from the Gulf of Mexico against, you know, from the first time we saw him, he was billed from the Gulf of America. So obviously they switched that due to all the backlash and everything. But not much to say about this match at all. I mean, it was only a 3-minute time limit, and I think the match ended like at 2 minutes. So not much to say about it, to be perfectly honest. El Grande Americano got the victory when he hit the diving headbutt off the top onto Erik for the 1-2-3. So yeah, quick little speed match, and El Grande Americano is over, brother. And right after the speed taping, we jump right into Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Of course, this was a WrestleMania Raw edition of, I guess, like the Raw and SmackDown the week of WrestleMania, or dubbed WrestleMania show. So that's what this Raw was dubbed, the WrestleMania Raw. And of course, you know, when the show starts, you got your glimpse of everyone walking in. You got, you know, CM Punk, you got Gunther or whoever. I kind of forgot who they all show. It's kind of just the main stars they show every week at this point. But everyone's coming to the arena, which leads to Michael Cole going in the ring for a Gunther promo. Gunther comes out. He's pissed. A great pop, by the way. I'm not sure how it's translated on Netflix. I haven't seen anything from the, you know, broadcast version. But there, he was getting tremendous heat. So, especially in his promo, man. When Michael Cole had to tell the crowd to calm down, he legit, like, had to tell people to calm down, because I could not understand a word Gunther was saying. I know he was talking, but I couldn't hear what he was saying because he was getting that much heat, man. He was getting, like, Dom Mysterio type heat in this promo. He was just getting annihilated. But by the time the crowd finally calmed down, you know, when Michael Cole came out and he pretty much, Gunther just started ranting at everybody, I thought Gunther cut a phenomenal promo. Definitely got me excited for the match of Jey Uso, man. Ever since the Jimmy Uso angle happened with Gunther and Jey Uso to build up their feud, I feel like that feud's just been kicking up and really heating up, and this was excellent stuff from Gunther. Excellent heat and just an excellent promo overall, and it got me excited for his match with Jey Uso. So yeah, tremendous stuff here from Gunther. Really enjoyed that promo. Preceding that, we had a video package from Bianca Belair backstage, pretty much hyping the match with you know, the triple threat at WrestleMania between her, Rhea, and Io. All three of them had video packages tonight discussing the match rather than being at the show, which I was kind of surprised by. I thought for sure they'd be on the show itself, but they weren't. It was just video packages only, which I didn't mind. I thought they were good for what they were. You know, quick little, you know, 2-minute things to get you, you know, a little last minute build up for the match. So I didn't mind it, but yeah, solid stuff there from Bianca. And following that video package, we had Bayley taking on Liv Morgan, and great pops for both women. And I gotta say, they went out there and had one hell of a match. I really enjoyed it. Great back and forth action for both women. Bayley was a crowd favorite. You know, the crowd's really behind her. I know her being from San Jose, 2 hours away. So kind of I don't want to say the crowd favorite, like the hometown favorite, but you know, she's close enough to where it'd be considered like a hometown favorite, I suppose. But Liv Morgan, no, I got to give her flowers. A year ago, I was saying that she was overrated, that people were saying that she had all this potential that she didn't have. I didn't see what, you know, she's become right now. I feel like since she's joined the Judgment Day, and, you know, mainly since she became Women's World Champion last year, she just kicked up an entirely different notch, and she's just been on her game. And I feel like all her performances and everything she's been given, Liv Morgan has just been an absolute star. So I have to give Liv Morgan all her flowers. I really have seen, you know, her grow and really impressed me over the last year. So I just had to give her props there. But yeah, her and Bayley had a killer match. I really enjoyed it. And they sold me a false finish, man, when Raquel got involved, and then Lyra tried to take her out, and then Raquel took her out, and then, you know, and Bayley was going for a finish, but then, you know, Raquel hit Bayley to set up for Liv's finish, the Oblivion, but then when Liv went for it, you know, Lyra was able to grab on the Bayley, so, you know, she wasn't able to hit her finish on it. I thought that was a great finish, and of course, you know, Bayley followed up with a jackknife pin after, you know, Lyra helped her out. Awesome finish. I really enjoyed, like I said, I really falsely thought, you know, when Raquel got involved, okay, and she took out Lyra, I was like, okay, Liv's obviously going to win, you know, with the Oblivion right here, but then, like I said, Lyra helped Bayley win the match by holding her when Liv went for it, and then Bayley hit the jackknife pin for the victory. So, really solid match. Really enjoyed that one. Preceding that, we had the Rhea Ripley video package again, you know, similar to the Bianca Belair, pretty much stating her case, why she's going to win, and, you know, pretty much, yeah, just hyping up the match at the last minute. Following that, we had Rey Mysterio taking on Julius Creed in a really good match here. Julius Creed is such a star, man. This dude has absolutely all the tools to be a huge star, in my opinion, and whenever they decide to break him and Brutus away, or if they just decide to push him more toward the singles, you know, while not breaking them up, but, you know, not officially keeping them together, I think Julius Creed has all the potential to be a star. And he showed it here, you know, great, excellent stuff between him and Rey Mysterio. Just that athleticism he was able to do, and just the spots, you know, like whatever he could do, or whatever Rey could do, he could do, and, you know, vice versa. Whatever he could do, Rey could do, you know, doing springboards at the top and whatnot, or the spot where Rey tried to do the baseball slide to the outside, but Julius Creed caught him and took a suplex, but then he went, you know, walked all the way up the steps onto the apron, but Rey got out of it and, you know, pushed him into the post and whatnot. Got to the point of the match where obviously LWO and American Made, you know, got involved. They all got ejected from ringside, so it became a one-on-one match for the second half of the match. And overall, I thought it was really good. Julius Creed had a great showing against Rey Mysterio, but of course, Rey Mysterio had the better of him, hitting the 619, followed by a splash, 1, 2, 3. Rey Mysterio defeats Julius Creed, which I thought was a fairly damn good match. And of course, after the match, El Grande Americano comes out and attacks Rey Mysterio, hits a diving headbutt, you know, has that little metal piece in his head, and pretty much, you know, that last minute just beat down before, you know, their match at WrestleMania. So yeah, Mysterio and Julius Creed definitely had a banger match. After that, we had a video package from the War Raiders, you know, hyping the match against the New Day at WrestleMania, saying how it's not going to be a match, it's going to be a war. And then New Day followed up with their comments and just, you know, pretty much said that they're going to win. I don't know why this match doesn't have a stipulation, especially when they keep saying this isn't going to be a match, this is not going to be a fight, it's going to be a war, but it's just going to be a normal match where it can end in a DQ again, just like your first match. So I don't know why they didn't add a stipulation to it. They might, maybe, you know, at the last minute. I don't think so, but yeah, it's just weird to me that this doesn't have a stipulation, you know, considering the way they've been talking in their promos and everything. So yeah, it was fine. I'm not really too excited for that match in general. I would have preferred the WWE Tag Team titles from SmackDown being defended over the World Tag Team titles, but it is what it is. Can't complain about that. Next, we had AJ Styles taking on Karrion Kross, which I thought probably was the weakest match on the show. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was just there. There wasn't really anything interesting going on. It was just a match happening to me. I did like Karrion Kross mimicking AJ Styles' gear. At first, I was kind of like, why is he wearing tights? But then once I kind of caught on that it was kind of mimicking AJ, I was like, oh, I like that. But yeah, it was a fine match. Not much to it. AJ Styles won the phenomenal forearm, which at first I didn't like it because Karrion Kross stood up and put his hands behind his back and just took it, which people obviously interpreted that as, you know, in his character, like he just accepted his fate and took it, which I can understand that. But personally, I would have liked it more if it was like at to the point where he's just like, he could barely stand. He's like, you know what? I'm defenseless. Okay, I'm accepting my fate. I would like that more, but it just seemed more like he just gave up rather than like he couldn't continue. So I don't know, just little things like that I would have tweaked and preferred and would have made it better for me personally. But the way it came off, like I said, it just looked like he just gave up rather than just like, you know, he couldn't continue anymore. So AJ Styles wins with a phenomenal forearm, but then, of course, afterwards, Logan Paul comes out to tremendous heat, man. Tremendous heat. No one wanted to hear from Logan Paul. And, you know, just cut a promo and then had a video package play. And then as he got close to the ring, you know, Karrion Kross tried to attack AJ, but then AJ took him out. And then Logan ended up taking AJ out with his finish and, you know, getting the last word in on AJ Styles. So yeah, Logan stands tall. I'm not really too sure how I felt about Logan coming out because literally the last match with Rey and Julius, we had El Grande Americano come out and attacking Rey. And then it's like the next match, we had the same situation happen where the WrestleMania opponent attacked his opponent after his match. Like, I don't know, like there's just some things that Triple H is booking where it just gets too repetitive, a lot of things I feel. So, you know, it is what it is. Maybe they would have put him in different spots in the show. It wouldn't have really made a difference, or really mattered, but back to back, I just felt like that was just really repetitive. And following that, we had Chad Gable come out to cut a promo, pretty much talking about El Grande Americano, putting him over, talking about how WrestleMania will be Rey Mysterio's 13th WrestleMania, and how unlucky it's going to be for him because he's going to face El Grande Americano, and that he's going to beat him. So very, very quick promo, live crowd promo. I think it's like, if you don't have ads on Netflix, you see it too. So you would have saw it if you don't have ads, I guess. But yeah, it's just one of those to the crowd promos, I was assuming. And preceding that, we had Jey Uso coming out. The crowd going absolutely nuts to the point where, you know, Jey Uso come out and had to do the encore thing again, where he was like, no, do it again. And everyone was going absolutely nuts. Yeah, just definitely one of the biggest pops tonight by far was Jey Uso, and the crowd's going absolutely nuts for him. And I will say, I thought Jey cut a great promo. Fairly short, I thought. I definitely, when it was over, I was like, oh, that was it. I was expecting him to say a lot more, you know, especially considering Gunther had a whole rant and had a whole lot to say in his promo. I figured Jey would have the same thing, right? But Jey was pretty much to the point and pretty much said, hey, I'm going to beat your ass at WrestleMania, Gunther, and take that title from you. And yeah, I thought, you know, for the short promo it was effective, got the job done, and definitely got me more hyped as well for his match with Gunther. So yeah, Jey and Gunther definitely gonna be one hell of a match. And after Jey's promo, we had Braun Breaker backstage with his interview, and it's hilarious because as it's happening, you know, you can see Penta coming out getting ready for his entrance, right? And then Braun Breaker gets attacked backstage, and Penta's just posing with the beatdown happening. I'm just like, Penta, didn't he help you last week? I know he speared you too, but he helped you. Go back there and help him, you know? Like, just, come on, Penta. go help him. But I just thought it was funny, like, seeing the visual Penta just on the stage posing as Braun Breaker's is getting his ass beat behind him on the screen. I just thought that was a funny little thing. But yeah, of course, that led to Penta coming out for his match against Finn Balor. Match of the night, these two went out there and had a banger match. Their movesets can be very similar as well. They both do the sling blade, so they both kind of just did the sling blade back to back against each other. Some good counters from both men. And, you know, Penta, he's just been tearing it up. You know, I've been loving his WWE run so far. Just pretty much, I feel like anyone you put him out there with, he's going to go out there and have a fun match with. And maybe it's just the people they've put him out there with so far, you know, but yeah, he's just been putting on some fun matches with whoever, you know, he's been in the ring with in WWE so far. And him and Finn Balor was definitely no different. I thought they had a really fun match here and definitely had some great near falls and some great spots. Of course, towards the end, Judgment Day got involved. Carlito and Dom, you know, trying to cause distraction, which led to Braun Breaker coming out. And I was typed. I was like, Braun Breaker's going to spear the hell out of Carlito again, hopefully. But no, he doesn't. He kind of just, you know, brawls the outside. But they do go in the ring where he does do a double spear to Carlito and Dirty Dom, which I thought was great. But then he turned his attention right to Penta. But that was going for Penta. Penta was able to counter it, and Penta was able to take out Braun Breaker with the Hurricane to the outside to stand tall. So Penta stands tall going to WrestleMania. Great match with Finn Balor. That's definitely another match I'm looking forward to at WrestleMania is Intercontinental title. That should be an awesome fatal four-way. And, you know, honestly, I don't really mind any of them winning. You know, everyone's a winner in my eyes. You know, there's no bad result for that match if you ask me. But yeah, that's definitely going to be an exciting one come Sunday. And then we had Io Sky's video package, just similar to, you know, Rhea and Bianca's from, you know, earlier in the night, just promoting the match, stating her case, how she's the women's world champion, how she's going to walk in and walk out of WrestleMania still the champion. So yeah, you know, a fine video package, you know, that added that, like I said, last minute hype for their match. And speaking of their match, they actually went through the entire WrestleMania cards for Saturday and Sunday. 7 matches on Saturday, 6 matches on Sunday, potentially 7 if they end up, you know, adding a last-minute Randy Orton match on SmackDown on Friday. Who knows? Maybe they'll just pull, you know, what they did with Bobby Lashley for 39, where they just leave him out the card because they couldn't find another program at the last minute. But, you know, who knows? Hopefully, I wouldn't mind if they added an Orton match. I hope they do, because there's really no reason to leave him off the card. But, you know, we're looking at 13 matches, potentially 14. But I'm looking forward to WrestleMania. This really is like a random WrestleMania card, but I'm excited. I'm excited for it, and I think it'll be a good show. So, yeah, ran through the card. And then, of course, after that, we had Paul Heyman backstage waiting for Roman Reigns, which he was throwing throughout the entire show. They had multiple segments of him waiting in the parking garage, but I just didn't really feel like it was worth mentioning until now, because at this point, CM Punk comes up, puts his arm around his shoulders, you know, tells him, "Look in my eyes, what do you see?" And then, Paul Heyman, a cult of personality. And of course, as that's happening, that's when Roman Reigns finally rolls up, sees that, and he's like, "Fuck you, Paul." Walks right by him, and of course, Paul's like, "I'm my tribal chief." And then, of course, that leads to Roman Reigns coming out to cut his promo, and pretty much stated, "Hey, you know, because the crowd was chanting, 'You fucked up with Paul." And Roman's like, "Yeah, listen to Sacramento, you fucked up. Explain yourself. I felt betrayed. Why did you do this?" And Roman cuts a phenomenal promo, I thought, hyping up the match. And as he's kind of giving Heyman shit, that leads to Seth Rollins coming out, which, by the way, Seth Rollins, you do not know how favors work, buddy. You don't sit there and, you know, not do something to someone like, "By the way, now you owe me a favor." Doesn't work that way, pal. But Seth Rollins comes out, and he cuts a great promo himself, you know, stating how much he keeps acting like the entire industry is on the line for this match, which I appreciate him trying to put the effort into building importance for it. But it's like, come on, everyone knows, like, the industry is not on the line for this match. Like, who are you trying to fool, brother? But so something I forgot to mention in the initial recording, of course, was during this segment, I noticed people around us started to turn around and look behind us. And at first I was kind of like, whatever, but then I noticed a lot of people kept turning around to the point where I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I kind of turned around and noticed a few people in the row behind me were standing up, turning around, and I just figured, okay, there must be some kind of argument or fight going on because I'm an idiot. And then eventually I see some dude in a Jey Uso shirt, an orange one nonetheless. He's wearing it, and he's kind of just like walking down like the section. I guess, like, I didn't know if he took someone's seat. I don't know what the situation was, but he left, didn't think anything of it, thought it was a fight, whatever. A little bit later on, all of a sudden I see some commotion again. Apparently he was back. And then during the segment later on, he ended up passing out. People were making fun of him. And then security had to take him out to the point where people were chanting, "Nah, nah, 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 hey, hey, hey," goodbye to him. And he was literally stumbling down. So, yeah, don't be stupid and get drunk to the point where you can't watch the show, guys. Seth Rollins comes out, and I thought ends up cutting, you know, a great promo on his behalf. And then at the end of the segment, you know, when it came to Roman, once again, he pretty much said, you know what, my decision was made for me. Ends up attacking Seth Rollins, but as he's doing that, you know, turns his attention back to Paul Heyman after he throws Seth Rollins out. And then he ends up pushing Paul Heyman. But once he pushes Paul Heyman, that leads to CM Punk coming out. Massive pop, especially from Audrey, because she's a huge CM Punk fan. He comes out, runs down, and runs to get his ass beat. Because as him and Roman's brawling, out comes CM Punk. Nails Roman with the chair, nails Punk with the chair, which very reminiscent of the Shield, because Rollins was even wearing a black jacket, like he was, or wearing a black vest like he was when the Shield broke up. So I thought that was a great callback for Seth to do that for this moment. But yeah, Seth takes out both Roman and Punk with the chair, and then, you know, Rollins kind of just like, hey, I'm going to beat both your ass at WrestleMania. Heyman's in the corner like he can't believe what he just saw. And that was it for the show. Right after that, the show went off the air. And, you know, Rollins went back. Roman got up, went back. Punk got up, he went back. And they announced that was the show. No dark match, no nothing. The show ended right after that, right after the Netflix show ended. So I was pleasantly surprised with that, because I know they like to add a dark match or two to round out that extra half hour that usually don't go. But my guess is they were just trying to get everyone to Vegas as soon as possible. So they're like, no, we don't need to have extra matches. Just when the show's over, let's just head straight to Vegas. So that's the only reason I can think of where they didn't have any dark matches. And I was thinking it was kind of odd that during the show and before the show, they didn't hype up any dark matches, because that's usually what they do. They're like, oh yeah, you know, later tonight, we're going to have this match. You're going to see this person main event, you know, and so-and-so. But they didn't do that. And I thought that was kind of odd. And it was because there weren't anything to happen after the after the show. So that was what it was. Wasn't upset by it by any means. I was just more surprised by it. So yeah, that was the show. And overall, I thought it was an awesome Raw, man. Honestly, I had a ton of fun. I remember in my last Raw review, I said I had a lot of fun with that show, and I had just as much fun at this show. I thought the show was great from start to finish. I thought all the promos were great. I thought the in-ring work was excellent. I just had a lot of fun at this taping on Monday Night Raw, and it definitely got me very, very excited for WrestleMania this weekend, because if you do not know, I will be at WrestleMania 41 this weekend in Las Vegas. I will be making my trip out there. I will be there from the 17th through the 22nd of April. And who knows, by the time this video is up, I might already be on my way there to Vegas. So, yeah, I'm very excited for it. And honestly, that was part reason why I didn't get merch at the show. I was like, I could get the shirts here, but I got my Vegas trip this weekend. I want to wait till you know, there to really spend money. I'm very excited for it. Obviously, I'll do an entire trip video afterwards once I'm back. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please feel free to leave a like below. And of course, my WrestleMania live review and my week trip. I'll see you guys then. Thank you guys for watching the video.